I believe that the family is the foundation of America and that it needs to be protected and strengthened. I believe in the sanctity of human life. I believe that we're overtaxed and government is overfed. I believe that homeland security begins with securing our borders.
It's not as if Mitt Romney hasn't defied the odds before. He was the Republican governor of the People's Republic of Massachusetts, after all. He officially entered the presidential race today, intending to be the first Mormon president and facing questions about his newly transformed positions on abortion, gay marriage, the economy, among many other issues. Here with her analysis is columnist with the Boston Herald, Virginia Buckingham. She wrote a piece on Romney's flip-flopping in today's paper. Virginia, thanks for coming on.
Good to be here.
So you heard Mitt Romney. He is committed to protecting human life. He's for smaller government. He's a kind of full-blown right-winger, always has been. True?
Hard to say. The guy has tried to be a lot of different things in the short time that he was here in Massachusetts. He ran as a moderate Republican, pro-choice, pro-gay rights. I was very puzzled as I covered him from the Herald when he started raising taxes and raising fees. So, you know, that fact that he's not a fiscal conservative either, I think it should just give voters a lot of pause about what this guy's really all about.
He raised taxes and raised fees. A lot has been about his pledge in '94 to be more pro-gay rights than Ted Kennedy, basically to become gay himself. His pro-choice to pro-life conversion. But very little has been written about the fact he's a big spender and a taxer. Give us a cliff notes on that.
Well, basically, he came in facing, as many governors did, a huge budget deficit, and he did cut some growth in spending, absolutely, and reorganize some of state government. But in addition to that, unlike his immediate Republican predecessors, he raised $500 million in fees, everything from home sales to marriage licenses, and then he raised corporate taxes. And the reason that it's not very well known is they're the kind of little things like taxing how a subsidiary of a corporation is filed with the Revenue Department. Little things that are very hard to kind of get across to the regular voter. He didn't raise income taxes or sales taxes, but he did raise business taxes, and it's a record he has to live with. When you say you raised the fees for marriage license, that's just for heterosexual marriage? That was before the gay marriage debate, yes.
Okay, so he didn't, just to be totally clear, he didn't raise fees on gay marriage certificates then?
Well, it would be on all.
Okay, on all. Well, I mean, he's an equal opportunity tax raiser then. Now, he said, I was reading the other day in his '94 race, I am not in line with the NRA, and today he says, I am in fact an NRA member. It seems on so many issues he, as has been noted a lot, has moved right pretty dramatically. When did this happen? Did you notice the beginning of this change? Or was it subtle?
It was a couple years into his administration when it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to run for re-election when he started down this path. And, you know, we have a history of it here, unfortunately. We just had a candidate, John Kerry, that was very well known for his flip-flopping, and I think the windsurfer ad, if Mitt Romney was a windsurfer, that ad would fit him pretty well as well.
He opened his speech today in Michigan. Now, he was, I mean, he lived in Michigan when he was young, but he's just left the office as governor of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Why do you suppose he chose Michigan and not your state?
Because he's trying to run away from the fact that he was governor here, and the only way he got elected governor here was by being a moderate Republican. And he doesn't want to remind people of that, so I think he's trying to get as far away from Massachusetts as he can.
Huh. That's pretty tricky. No one will notice he was governor of Massachusetts. Well, how do you think he's going to do among all 9 Republicans in Massachusetts? Does he have a lot of support there still?
You know, it's interesting because you would think, given there is just a small little lot of us here, that he would have universal support, but he really doesn't. Just yesterday, John McCain picked up some support from some pretty prominent elected Republicans in the state. Former Governor Paul Cellucci is supporting Rudy Giuliani. Governor Weld, former Governor Weld, is supporting Romney. So it's splitting, and I think you're going to see that there's not universal support for what he did, which is not taking no new taxes pledge and raise taxes.
Let me ask you finally a very subjective question that maybe you're uncomfortable with answering, but you covered him, you said, for the Boston Herald. Did you think he was straight in his dealings with the press?
You know, he kept us at arm's length most of the time. You know, there's a little joke that he had a velvet rope up around the governor's office to keep the media at bay. And he has made a lot of jokes at the local media's expense as he's hit the campaign trail. And, you know, but those of us who are closest to him know him best. And, you know, I think he's going to find that the record that we saw is going to be covered and is going to be part of this campaign.
Boy, there's an indictment. Virginia Buckingham for the Boston Herald. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tucker.